CAPE Digital Media Syllabus, Unit 1, Module 1. We're looking at opportunities and pitfalls of digital media and the internet. Technological advancement, as advancement in any other areas of life, presents numerous opportunities. However, as with everything else, pitfalls do exist. The digital domain offers users a horde of opportunities and pitfalls to drive success or failure. Opportunities from personal brand building to professional practices, such pitfalls from permanent records to ethical issues. First, we want to look at an opportunity that allows the creation of connections. Networking on social media, for example, provides an opportunity for like-minded individuals to develop connections. For example, using LinkedIn, which is a professional network which allows individuals to see if they have relationship with others who may know someone they would like to connect with. Once you're on LinkedIn and you set your profile, you are connected, or you have the opportunity to be connected to a host of like-minded professionals. Then there's an opportunity for brand building. When you connect an individual on a social network, for example, an invitation is usually sent. In most cases, this is not enough. However, how you nurture a relationship is what will augment your personal brand. Digital media and the internet affords businesses and organizations the unique opportunity to boost their brand and make themselves marketable. Another opportunity that's presented by DM and the internet is follow-up. Follow-up is always crucial in the DM realm. Each point of contact has the potential to encourage further interaction and networking. DM therefore promotes effective follow-up. And of course, we know that in the business realm, in whatever we do, if we don't follow up, persons may think that we're no longer interested. In order to show the interest, we need follow-up, and this is critical. Another opportunity that's presented is the one that we can build communities. DM and the internet presents a unique opportunity to create communities of interest, whether it's on Twitter or on longer commentary on a blog. Your presence helps create communities of interest. That's where you find persons of like interests, similar interests, and you build that group or community. Another opportunity is that of dynamic discussions. DM and the internet fosters dynamic discussions through participation among colleagues on substantive and sometimes very comical issues. In a dynamic environment, the discussion on a range of topics, from new legislations, for example, to emerging technology, is crucial for individual and collaborative success. Now we want to look at some of the pitfalls. First and foremost, and very crucial, is that of permanent records. One serious pitfall of DM and the internet is the creation of permanent records. It is said that the internet is not written with pencil, but in ink. Technology users should be cognizant that the digital document trail that they leave behind is permanent. Mark Zuckerberg's Facebook is a typical example. Careful what you post on Facebook. It will come back one of these days to haunt you. We know that if you're going to look for a job now, your potential employer has your records. They're on Facebook just as you are, and they can find you. And It is embarrassing sometimes because you go for a job which is supposed to be highly professional and you're posing on Facebook in almost nothing. Some absurd looking outfit, and an employer doesn't want to have a person like that around them. And as young persons, you have to be extremely careful what you put on Facebook and the other social networks, how you project yourself. This is quite important. Those records don't disappear. It's not a regular paper trail that you can shred and get rid of. They're permanent, and this is very critical. Another pitfall is that of material discovery. The internet can serve as source material for discovery. The discussions taking place in social media environment can have material impact on litigation and promote discoverable insights. If you are in the legal profession, you really don't want to have these kinds of discussions on the DM or any social network because it can have serious impact on your case, for example. Ethical issues. We've heard discussions on ethical issues, and this is one of the pitfalls of DM and the internet. While basic personal information is available online, there are those who try to circumvent the privacy restrictions of social networks. There is a growing trend of trying to find information on individuals in a very dishonest, unethical manner. This is evoking ethical predicament in discovery. And again, we know that we've heard so much about the ethical issues, the privacies, and all of that earlier on. Time consuming. The abbreviated nature of commentary and extensive use of acronyms is designed on the internet to save time. However, the internet and DM can become pretty addictive. And the length of time that individuals spend on social networks, for example, can take up an extensive amount of time. The internet can become, in general, counterproductive and time-consuming. We have families where parents don't see their kids for days because they're locked up in their rooms, online, and parents not going in to see what's happening with their kids. They're taking up all the time. Children stop socializing with their parents. The family value is no longer there because children are spending more time on the internet than they are spending with their families, with their parents, discussing issues with their parents. In school, you have children spending more time on the internet than they are actively studying or preparing for a paper, etc. They're browsing, they're socializing, they're texting. That is counterproductive. It is time-consuming. The informal discussions that we have on the internet. The level of participation in social media-based discussions tend to dilute more formal methods of communication. And that is quite true. Everything has become so watered down, so informal, to the point that the brevity and the informalities tends to reduce the importance and the attention an individual places on a particular piece of correspondence. You send out a bit of correspondence. This is supposed to be highly important, but because of the informal nature on the internet, it loses its importance. That's one of the pitfalls. I want to take a moment to look at some of the opportunities and pitfalls of DM and the internet in the school environment. After all, this is CAPE Digital Media Syllabus, and it is designed to be taught in the secondary school, at the secondary school level, and both educators and students must be well aware of the opportunities and pitfalls of DM and the internet. So we're looking at the opportunities and pitfalls of DM and the internet in the school environment. First up, teachers can use technology to energize constructivist, informal, and social learning. The drawback or pitfall: the same student who snubbed traditional literary works now spend an average of 4 hours a day online, browsing websites, playing video games, text messaging. Now, this is a very troubling situation, and it's a troubling trend in the school. And teachers and school administration have to find ways to deal with this particular trend. When we look at constructivist learning, the new digital media can help to translate some of the dreams of a student-driven approach into reality. For example, digital tools have already transformed the way that we conduct research and write, and accordingly, the way we think about composing and editing text. A new type of freedom, for example, in the preparation of final papers. However, the pitfall to this: the increased personal freedom does come with pitfalls. Educators need to be on the lookout for papers whose professional appearances mask poor writing and shoddy research practices. Furthermore, there is a salient issue of plagiarism. When we look at online reading versus offline reading, the full content of a text will be available to a student if he walks into the public library or into the school library. Online, much of this content requires an online subscription, a password, or paid access to a member library. Because this content often is not captured and indexed by Google and or Yahoo, for example, the student, therefore, would more than likely not be able to come across many of these texts or the contents of these texts. And that is a serious pitfall in case of online learning, online reading. An opportunity for informal learning. Students can use DM to pursue a myriad of personal interests, since for any imaginable interest, there will be a related website. Teachers can use these interests and incorporate them into the formal learning system. On the other hand, a potential pitfall of such an approach includes the challenge to keep the student focused on a given learning task. When they are working independently online, students may gravitate towards inappropriate or irrelevant content, and that is a serious drawback of this particular type of learning. And then in the case of social learning, DM have the powerful ability to link students together across time and space, capitalizing on students' natural desire to socialize with peers. Online social learning experiences can engage students and expose them to new individuals and ideas. Wikis are one of the popular ways to connect students with their classmates or with other classrooms across the world. The pitfall to this, however, is that it is often difficult to sustain collaboration online. Communication have a set of expectations that are vastly different from face-to-face or telephone interaction in the case of online communication. Digital media and the internet offers tremendous opportunities and potentials for students, professionals, and just about everyone with a basic knowledge of how to get online, to raise profile, to strengthen relationship with organizations and communities, to educate yourself, to build skills in specific areas of interest, and almost an infinite number of opportunities. However, like everything else, you have to be aware of the pitfalls that are associated with the use of DM and the internet. These pitfalls are as varied as the opportunities presented. While the approach to teaching and learning is shifting from the traditional chalk and talk of the traditional classroom to more student-centered in the virtual realm, both teachers and students must always, and I underscore always, be cognizant of the dangers or pitfalls that lurk in cyber.